What's going on, world? It's your boy Inspires the Block, and you have tuned in to another episode of Corrected Felon. I hope y'all been having a good time checking out my other YouTube videos because I'm really putting forth some information that I think that will inspire those that really need some inspiration in their life, and especially for those that are like me, that's a convicted felon. Now, in this week's episode, what I want to talk about is the fact that I get confused when I see other people, especially on social media, that in a sense like to glorify prison or having a felony. And the crazy part is that so many young people gravitate towards this information as if it's some rite of passage to get in trouble with the law or having some run in with the law. But what we need to start doing, those that's been through the system, is to make sure that we sending the right message, especially to our young people. Like, we don't necessarily tell them that being in prison is hell. Even though you may not have any physical problems, but mentally and emotionally, prison is rough. That's what it was for me. Like, I never had a physical problem in prison. Yeah, I had my fight or two, but I've never had nobody trying to oppress me physically. But mentally and emotionally, I was scarred for a long time when it came to being incarcerated. It's really, really hard dealing with it from that perspective. And also, another thing that we don't teach our young people, especially our young boys, is that when you get convicted of a felon, it's like having an illness or terminal illness that you cannot get rid of. Like, we don't send them this message that once you've been convicted of a felony, it's hell. I mean, you're rejected by society day in and day out, and it's something that you can never recover from. Like, you cannot get over it. No matter what you try to do in life, you always going to be reminded that you are a convicted felon. And this is the message that we need to put out there. That we need to put out there and let these young boys know that once you get convicted of a felony, man, it's a stain on your life that you can never rub out. I mean, that's just mere fact. That is what it is, and I think that we need to do a better job at that and telling the truth. Like, if you got a felony, you can't get housing. I mean, that's a requirement now for them to do a background check on you for housing. And also, too, if you got a felony, it's hard as hell to get a job. So they damn near make it impossible for you to exist in this world. So this is the message that we need to put forward to our young people and let them know that before you decide to have these run-ins with the law, understand the impact that it's going to have on your life. Because there's nothing slick about it. It's nothing cool. Because it's really going to haunt you for the rest of your entire life. I got an uncle who he got convicted back in 1975, okay? Did almost 10 years in prison, got out in the mid-80s. And we in 2018, and every time he applies for a job, still to this day, his background comes up as a convicted felon. I mean, that's over, 30-something years. And he's still paying the price for being a convicted felon. Same thing as myself. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy by far trying to exist in a world where you're constantly rejected and reminded that you have no place in this world because you are a convicted felon. I'm constantly reminded of that. I'm just so fortunate that I'm able to maneuver, through certain things to make sure that I have a footing in this world. I'm able to use my thinking abilities to make sure I'm providing for my family financially without having to do it illegally. I've had a few jobs since I've been out of prison. They haven't been the best paying jobs, but they've been enough to make sure I'm able to sustain the basic necessities for my family. And also to provide a few luxuries and provide a few wants. This is what I have to do. And I have to accept what comes my way as far as when it comes to employment opportunities because I am a convicted felon. Now, don't get it twisted. I am working on some things to take my life to the next level. And one of them is these YouTube videos. But at the same time, I have to do what I have to do. And so my message to you young people out there is that think twice before you decide to have these run-ins with the law. Because I guarantee you that you're going to pay a stiff price if you become a convicted felon. And in some cases, little misdemeanors hold you up. Yeah, I know people with petty theft cases. It's hard as hell for them to get certain kind of jobs because little petty misdemeanor theft case comes up. So don't be looking at this silly stuff that you see on Instagram and YouTube about, prison and people having these frivolous conversations as if it's not a real big thing. Don't listen to that. Listen to your subconscious mind. Listen to that inner voice so that you won't have to go through what so many of us are going through right now with a felony. Always make sure that life is easy, not harder. Because if you really want to be successful in this life, you have to do everything to make sure that you actually walking on the path that's going to lead you to that success. Not a path that's going to take you over mountains, through valleys, hell and high water just to get there. So once again, think about it. Make a rational decision. Having run-ins with the law is not that serious, not that important, and for sure, I guarantee you once again, it's going to affect the shit out your life if you get convicted of a felony. You will not be able to escape it. You will not be able to get around it. So just think twice before you decide to be tough guy, tough girl, and have these run-ins with the law. Like I said, you can only, one thing for sure, two things for certain, right? You're only going to be a child or a young person for so long. You're going to be an adult for the rest of your life. So until next time, please continue to subscribe, like, and comment to my YouTube channel. And you also can find me on Instagram at Inspires the Block and also on Twitter at Inspires the Block. I just pray that all of y'all have a blessed day on purpose. Salute.